Un momento, por favor. Un momento, por favor. All right, that's my cue that we started when I hear myself talking. That's cute. All right. Oops. By the way, guys, we're gonna have Billy on today too, just to answer questions about the nodes, as I mentioned before. But let me just get this started here because it's a lot to go over. All right. What is going on? I'm going to show you guys this chart first over here on TradingView. This is a 3-day time frame. As you can see, we are picking our head above, wicking right up above the downward trending resistance line. But here's something that you guys got to understand. We get excited about these breakouts. This is not a breakout yet. We are still in a bear flag. I know from here to here, it's huge. Even from this pump from where we just were, 73, 74, 75, all the way up to 77 is huge. But technically speaking, still in a bear flag, and we're just wicking our wick right up to the green line on the 3-day death cross. And I can show you how when you're in a bear market and you get below that green line. In fact, it's easier to show you on the 2-day. When we're in a bear market and we get below the green line on the golden death cross, we hit it. We wick through it sometimes, but every time we touch it usually and get through it is when we have a much bigger drop. We get, I mean, this bear flag right here, all the way up to not only the downward trending resistance, but we wicked right through the green line, and that was the cue for the next drop. We are wicked through it right now. Don't get me wrong, we are definitely through it. But let me just go back and show you in previous bear markets like this one right here. When we dropped below it, we came up and retested it here. We went through it quite a bit. Now, if this happened now, that would bring us up to the 80, 85K, 80K range maybe. But this one came right back down and that dropped below that. We wicked up here. This is another drop level right here. When we wicked up to it right here. And that is a huge bear flag all the way back up to that amount before dropping back through it to the downside. So I'm not saying that it's impossible for us to, break out into a bull market. I'm not saying it's impossible, but history has shown that whenever we're in a bear market, in a bear flag, in a bear market, and in a bear flag at the moment, whenever we get below this green line, we stay under it until the bull market starts. So getting above it now, it doesn't mean we can't wick above it. See right here, we wicked above it, came back below, wicked above it, came back below, wicked above it, came back below. And this is back in 2018. But in the last bear market, guys, we only wicked above it. I mean, we got above it here, but came right back below, and we touched it and wicked above here, just slight little wick right there, and then pulled right back. This right here, equal to what we're doing right now. Boom, wick above. So this would technically be, if this pulled back under the green line, that would be just a nice wick above it. Now, what would have to happen in order for this to totally change? we would need to hold above that green line and hold above this 75K zone, because that's the previous resistance going all the way back to 2021 for Bitcoin when we hit 68K, 65K, actually more like 65K here, right there. And then we wicked through to 68, we wicked to 73, we broke out 74.5. So this is the zone right here, and we're in this zone, and we are wicking above it right now. So we would have to literally hold above that and this green line, and also break out of the bear flag. And we're not, and generally speaking, that would take us to get, we would probably have to get higher than, I would say, 80K to really break out of a bear flag to the upside. Now, why would we break out of a bear flag to the upside? Well, usually it does happen when the bear flag is on top of support. Are we on top of support, or are we underneath resistance is the question. So the support is 65K, the resistance is 75K, and we're in the middle of it. So to me, we're reaching up, trying to break back through the resistance of the 73.8 or the 74.5 zone, which is, to me, rounded out to 75K. We would need to hold above that. So there's several things happening here, and it's not that I'm bearish and I'm sticking to my guns here that we're going down further. If it breaks above that, then we could be very bullish. Do I think we got to run up to 100K or 117? And even if we do that, that would still be a lower high, like Ryan suggested in the Discord chat. That technically would still be a lower high if that's all it did was wick up to, let's just say, this red line here. That if that's possible, yes, of course, everything's possible. But I don't suspect that happening right now. So what is causing this pump? Well, it's just, the same thing that caused this pump from the bottom of the bear flag here to here. The same thing that caused the pump from here to here. Is it the same news? No. Is it the same situation? It appears to be, to me, that we're just in a bear flag, which is bearish, which usually breaks to the downside, in a downward trending channel, which usually breaks after hitting the resistance on the downward trending resistance line. And we're still trying to break through major horizontal resistance here at the 75K. Now, you could say, well, it broke through because look at that wick, Niko, it's all the way above it. But it would have to hold above that. Lots of times we have wicks that wick through resistance and come right back down. Now, here is the other thing that I was showing you the other day on the 2-day. Let's go. This is the 2-day time frame. We have, we did, look at this. Remember I said it needs to get above this and hold. So it did wick above that. Look at that on the 2-day time frame. This was the previous resistance of the overall downward trending bearish divergence on the RSI. We wicked above it here once, remember that, and that technically was higher than this high right here. Well, it kind of matched it right on the nose right there, but it came right back down. So yeah, it was pretty much right there on that. And by the way, this right here, guys, was an all-time high at one point. That was the 108. It was just a much lower high. So again, if this holds above 60 the 60 on the RSI and bounces right there, which it could do, I'm not denying that it's impossible. It's not impossible. It's just that's what would have to happen for us to really continue up here, I think. And so that's the 2-day time frame. I know we got Billy on the line here. I don't want to tie Billy up too long. I know he's busy. Billy, let me just see if you're there.
I'm here.
Okay, good. Just wanted to clarify this because this is pumping right now, and a lot of people are in trades right now. I am still in my short position. I did get stopped out on one of them. I did just re-enter more contracts on this pump. That's my belief. I'm sticking to my thesis here that this major pump up, a lot of people, when they see these pump ups, they're like, oh, should we go long? Should we go long? And me, I'm the opposite. I'm like, you never, usually you don't buy in on the major peak, right? When it's hitting the downward trending resistance and it's at its highest peak right there. That's usually the time when you might either get out of the trade or wait for a pullback or short. So to me, in order to long, it would need to hold above all this. It would need to get above the downward trending resistance, get above the bear flag, and literally hold as support. And so how will we know if that happens? I would say it's going to take another 24 hours. At least we got 1 day and 8 hours left on this candle right here on the 2-day time frame. And I'm on the 2-day because the higher you go, the more that makes sense. If you go to the 1 day, we're just hitting the top. We're just hitting it right now, guys. We're just hitting the downward trending resistance right here. And we wicked above it, but we haven't quite hit the top of the bear flag here, which would bring us to about 78K, 79K. If I go to the 3-day, which is where we had the death cross right here. By the way, that good old 3-day death cross, the triple death cross that I've been talking about, has never yet failed. It's not like one of those things where, yeah, but that doesn't always work. No, every time so far in a bear market, when we have a death cross on the 3-day time frame, we have one more drop every time. Now, is it possible that that doesn't happen this time? Yes, everything is possible. But I'm not basing my opinion of what's going to happen on what's possible. I'm doing it based on what's likely, based on what has always happened. So that's how you kind of got to look at this. Doesn't matter if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I will reevaluate the situation and make a decision based on the new change in what's happened. But I'm not going to project what's going to happen based on what's possible. I'm projecting based on what's always happened. And on the 3-day time frame, we still have the death cross. We're still in a bear flag. We're still hitting the downward trending resistance, and we're just coming up to that green line right now. Which, as you can see, once we get under it, we stay under it for the whole duration of the bear market until we break out. This was the 1 year. This was the lowest low, and we broke above it here and retested. That was the beginning of a bull market. Back here, same thing. We stay under it. We wick above it once or twice, but we stay under it for the whole duration until the 1 year mark is up, and then we break out into a bull market. So I'm still not convinced that this is bull market. Could we have a rally? Yes. And all of those rallies back there that I showed you where it broke above the green line, those were failed rallies, but they're still rallies. They're still pumping. The market still pumps and rallies, and everybody gets excited, and a lot of money gets taken from people. Right. I lost money. I got stopped out on one of my shorts, but I will re-enter because I'm still convinced that I'm going to make more of it back on the way down. All right. So we'll get back to this in a second. I want to bring Billy on right now because we promised last week that I would have Billy back on to answer questions about the nodes. And there were some questions, and also to just reiterate, Billy, let me just get over to my different chart here. And let's just go into our group, into our ICO group. Our ICO channel here. We did have some questions. Let me just give you a few of them. By the way, welcome, Billy. Let's see here.
Russ questions you asked me yesterday, Niko, or the day before yesterday. We didn't that voice text. We didn't see those issues. So I'm not sure what they were looking at because we don't even have an intake form.
So. Yeah, I'm trying to find the person who said that here in my chat here, because he said something about he bought where is he? Who is it? Who was it? And I apologize, not having it right here, but he said he bought one skybound node, but I never shared the link. So he must have done it.
And there's no intake. The information he was saying wasn't making sense. So when you find it, you can send it to me later because it doesn't pertain to everybody else.
Yeah, it doesn't pertain. So, because it was in my main chat, everybody else saw it, and I just want to clear it up.
Okay, gotcha.
That's the only reason. But I just can't remember. If you're on this call, feel free to jump out and ask your question. But anyway, bottom line is, guys, if you go, and I will share the link.
Niko, I'm on.
Who was it? I'm sorry.
This is Russ. I'm on.
Oh yeah. Hey Russ. So you said you bought a skybound node. Oh, here.
Yeah, I did. Off one of the sites, and perhaps I went to the wrong place, but it took the $1,100, but and it verified it, came out of my account, verified they got it. But then when you try to contact them on info@skybound.live or support@Skybound Live or the phone number 813-454-1974. It just rings. I got
that's my number. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
got
sure.
through on that number one time, but it just took a message and I never heard anything back.
That's weird. Well, I'm here. So the best way is, and Nico knows, just send me a DM on IG because that's where everybody kind of does support. Right now they're doing they were doing some work on it the other day. I'm sure that's probably what it was. But our attorney Daniel Payne went through everything as well, the site, and said there was a couple glitches. So our dev team was working on it yesterday.
So you might only see a phone number if you actually buy, because when I go on the site here, and I even when I go to contact or anything like
Right.
that, it didn't show it. There was an email address for support, and that
Yeah,
was it.
yeah, Casey's coming on board in 3 weeks. Who's going to be head of customer support on all that kind of stuff.
All right.
Thanks.
So good. The good news is, Russ, is you bought on the right site, but we announced on the last live call that we did, and we had Billy on, that even no distribution is going to be made until these 1,894 are, or these 2,000 rather, are claimed. Then that's when distribution happens. But Russ, so you paid, but you don't know what to do next. You don't have the instructions on, or did you get it set up on any kind
No,
of
I had no instructions whatsoever. I only
yeah.
bought the one because I was trying to make sure it worked before I bought more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so I'll jump in there,
yeah,
Nico.
go.
So we've told everybody we're in pre-launch right now. So pre-launch right now, there's 1894. The sales funnels, all that stuff, the marketing, it all starts next week. We had to build that out. The attorneys had to go through it and proof it, so on and so forth. So that all starts next week. So we should have between 100 to 400 people a week on our Zooms. Those are sales funnel Zooms that we set up through our marketing team. We were on the phone call with a group at 7 a.m. this morning, 7 a.m. my time, which was 2 hours ago, with a group out of Cyprus that has about 10,000 reps that want to have a blockchain travel club integrated into their site. So they're looking at us as well to integrate. So we have a lot of companies coming to us now that because our blockchain's already done, which is the hardest part about doing this. So we've got $25 million worth of tech already done. So now we're just piecing together some of the other stuff that's happening. But
All right,
what question? Yeah, go ahead.
Russ, yeah, the only thing I was going to say, Russ, is you must have Googled it or went on your own somewhere, because I never gave. There is instructions, and there is a breakdown that I was going to share, but I did warn everybody, and I did tell everybody in this group several times that I'm waiting for clarity on everything before I share it, and
Yep.
we wanted to make sure first. So a lot of people just get anxious and go on their own, find things, and then don't know what to do, and then you come in the chat and you say you're having this problem, and it scares other people, and that's the problem, because I said that we didn't share anything yet. So, but that's there's nothing wrong with what you did, Russ. It's just I just want you to feel good knowing that you at least got what you paid for. But the question is should he be getting any emails or follow-ups or anything?
Yes, he will be 100%.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And
Appreciate
Russ,
it, guys.
Russ, also just send me your DM me in Discord with your email and everything, and I will make sure that Billy has that to make sure that you get what you paid for, and that you obviously start to get distribution on it. There's nothing wrong with what
Well,
you did.
the distribution will start probably in about less than 90 days. The reason people want to get their nodes, every blockchain that I launch, I always get my nodes the very first time they're announced. The reason for that is we don't know if it's going to, when this group comes on board, if they've got 10,000 reps, if they're going to eat up that full amount in one day or 90 days or how long it's going to take. But you just always want to be positioned and get them at the cheapest price, which is right now. So right now, the nodes are marked down from 2,500 down to 1,100 bucks. If you buy 10 or more, a lot of you guys asked that. I went back to the guys, the team, and just asked if we could do that for Niko's group. At first, I said no, because they didn't want to do that because there's still a fee, a hard cost with all of that. So they're kind of taking a hit. But I did get that approved for those that do want to do that. No hard cost for you guys. There's hard costs on the back end. But yes, so if you guys did want to do the 10 for 10 like you did with Opio, then yes, you can do that. And the code, it'll ask for a coupon code, which is NODE, NODE, NODE. Niko,
Yeah,
I think I emailed all that to you as
yeah,
well, right?
yeah, I have the instructions, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and share the instructions after this call today, guys, and then you can just. But the disclaimer is that you obviously, guys, this is an investment. There is risk involved. You're doing this on your own. Of course, I'm doing it. We do it because these are opportunities that tend to be very fruitful for those who take action in the beginning. And the reason why I even have Billy on the call is not only is he an old friend of mine, but I've seen Billy make an absolute fortune with the nodes. But do they all skyrocket? Does everybody get rich? No. But generally we don't get involved in the ones that don't have a huge amount of backing and a huge amount of infrastructure behind them and big players behind them. These guys are not investing millions of dollars to lose it. So there is some risk involved. I like to say that because everything we do technically is risky in the investment world, but the good news is no risk, no reward, and the fruit is out on the limb. And the people who make the most money are the ones who get in on these types of opportunities before they go public and before the rest of the masses know about them.
Yeah, and I'll kind of go through that so you guys. I don't know who was on the last call and who was on this call. The reason I'm actually building Skybound out is my mother passed unexpectedly January the 9th. She wasn't sick. She just laid down with a headache and she didn't wake up. My daughter called. She goes, "Dad, I need your credit card for airline tickets and hotels." And I got to thinking, how many other people out there can't take vacations, or how many other people out there just want to spend more time with their family and they don't get to because they're always working. So I called the partners back. I said, "Listen, I want to create the very first fintech blockchain decentralized travel club, private travel club in the United States. I think there's two in UAE or UEA, but there's not in the United States. So we've self-funded the 25 million up front on the blockchain. That's already done, which is huge. The three biggest things that are affected by a company launching on the blockchain for nodes and to have a fintech company like this is, number one, you've got to build out the blockchain, and it's usually between 25 and 50 million. That's already done with Skybound, which is the biggest hurdle out there. Number two is building out utility. How can we use this token other than selling it? What value will it have out into the marketplace? We've already signed up the airlines. We've already signed up over 1 million hotels. I was just talking to Brad Hilton again 3 days ago. So the Hiltons. So we got the Hiltons, the Marriotts, and the Ritz-Carltons done. We've got car rentals already on board. We just started bringing on professional sports and collegiate sports on there. Who else? I just signed our second aviation company, private jet aviation. People said, "Well, how many tokens will it take to get that?" We won't know the distribution of the token until day one when the distribution starts. So depends on if we have 2,000 people, 3,000 people. So, but you can see the tokenomics right there on the website. So if you just go right there to the white paper, it'll show you right there on that. And then let's see, additionally, we have a meeting next week where the group's got 6,000 restaurants that you'll be able to use this for as well in an app that we're developing alongside them as well. So we've got a lot of moving parts, but it's all great because 90% of the fear mongo, I guess, of getting involved in something like this. People say, "Well, you're a startup." We're not a startup because the startup means you're just starting from scratch. We've already got 25 million of tech already completely done. So, but we are just launching, and we can't call it legally. I love Niko to death, and you guys look at it this way, but legally, I can't call it a investment because investment it goes through SEC and everything else. You're buying software. That software has a responsibility and it has a job to do. When it does its job, we all get paid in those tokens 7 days a week, or they get dispersed out to us. Our attorneys are very strict on us saying the word investment because we can't use the word investment. Either way, you're putting the money up. We get it. You're buying a piece of software, and that software does have a responsibility, and it does 100% get you some tokens 7 days a week. But the really cool thing is when you go on a vacation, the money you spend for your airline tickets, your hotels, your Ubers, or your car rentals, your golf courses, your restaurants, your spas, all of those things that you go on your vacation for, why spend hard-earned money for that? That's going to be gone forever. If you buy these software nodes, you're going to be able to use these rewards, and you're going to be able to utilize those on your vacation instead of your hard-earned money. And I tell people the easiest way to think about this is this. Here's American Express. American Express right now, if I swipe my card, American Express, there's a fee. If I swipe it, it goes back to the shareholders. That fee that every time we use one of our cards, it goes back to the shareholders of that particular platform, whether it's Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. On our platform, every time somebody books on our booking engine, there's a fee. That fee goes back to the node owners 7 days a week. So every time they book a hotel, every time they book an airline, every time they book a restaurant, anything that we have on that platform, there's a transaction fee. That fee, if you guys knew about mining Bitcoin, when I started making Bitcoin at $200, and for those that don't know who I am, I've been in this space for about 12 years. I started making Bitcoin at 220. I've never bought crypto. I don't trade crypto. All I do is make it. I'm not saying it's not. Niko's one of the best at what he does. That's why he's in his field. I'm one of the best at what I do on my side. That's why we've partnered up. But I've made, close to $50 million in this industry by simply owning these software nodes. Like Niko said, I'm not telling you if you buy software nodes, you're going to get rich. We don't do that. What we are going to tell you is the biggest hurdle of getting through this is three things. Number one, building the blockchain. Ours is done. Number two, finding the utility, getting your utility contract set up, which we've already done. And number three is building the community, which is what we're doing now. I've got a lot of other blockchain companies out there with big groups. We're going to head to Miami, I think, in 2 weeks to Consensus down there. Got a lot of blockchain people down there as well that's requested us to come down and talk more about it. So we're doing that. So I'm going to pause real quick and just see if there's any questions that you guys have about that. If only been a part of for a week, the information is more than intriguing. Okay, yep. Airfare prices are getting very higher in Canada now with the fuel. Listen, when you buy the airline tickets on the site, there's zero, almost, I think it's like 3%. You're not going to see a savings really on the airfare. I tell people that all the time. Your savings are going to come from the hotels. That's where your biggest savings that you're going to see are going to come from. But that's the biggest savings. But the coolest part is if you took $10,000 you went on vacation and you spent that on your airfare, hotels, everything else, it's gone. But if you took that same $10,000 or 11 grand and bought 10 of these nodes, well, right now you get 20 nodes. Now you're going to get these Sky rewards 7 days a week from this point on. And you can take those Sky rewards and you can take multiple trips instead of just one trip. That's the whole benefit and purpose of this. Any Optio updates? The Optio blockchain is done. It was not done last time. So the Optio blockchain is done. They're going through some scenarios right now, or not going through scenarios. They're going through meetings right now to raise $25 million more to launch it into the marketplace. But all good news with Optio for sure. Optio is become more widely used for transactions across merchants, retailers, boost. Yes, 100%. The more transactions that are on any network like that, the more rewards, we all get to share in those rewards. Correct. Are the Optio nodes almost sold out? They are almost, from my understanding. Don't hold me to that, but I haven't asked that number in a while. But they have sold a couple 100,000 of them. Is there an infinite amount of nodes or only specific? The real question, Eugene, is how many tokens, not nodes. The real question is how many, like Optio, they have 60 billion tokens. The last blockchain that we launched had 50 billion tokens. We took that to 84 cents. Skybound only has 500 million. So we have a lot less tokens on this side, which drives scarcity. So that's really the question. Is it too late to get in on Parler? It's not too late. I just tell people you've missed 2.5 years of distribution, which is the biggest way that you're going to make the most. If you get in before project launches, which is what Skybound, I'm not just saying that just to push you into Skybound. I'm just giving you an example. The reason I made a ton of money on the other projects I've done is because I had my nodes online a couple months before they ever hit. And then day that the distribution started, that is the day that you'll get the most tokens ever. So Optio now has been going for distribution for almost 2.5 years. So you've missed 2.5 years of distribution, and that's where most of your profitability is. Who sets the token value of the hotels? So what happens is once we hit base, which is Coinbase's DeFi, they will dictate and set the price of the token. So the actual exchange itself, which will be Coinbase, will for that's usually how it works. So who sets the total value? Okay. So whenever let's just say the token hits the market at a nickel or 10 cents or whatever it is, then that converts equally across when you book your airline tickets and everything else. So whatever the price of the token is, it's real time equations when you go to check out. So it'll have that kind of price right there for you. So you don't have to sit there and figure it out. It'll say you need $200 worth of Sky tokens, and you'll just plug it in right there. It'll be really easy. It's not going to be difficult to do. It's all done through the computer system, so you don't have to sit there and computer. Is there a projected date for Coinbase? For Sky, we project by the end of this year because our blockchain's already done. So we're moving very quickly. So that's the good news. I don't like to give people dates because then they'll come back and they say, oh, well, you said this or you said that. So I will tell you the end of the year, the holidays of this year is the projection that we're going for, that I think that will Mint Optio listing. That I would think by the end of the summer, they just finalized up everything. They're going to get there obviously before we will because they're a little ahead of us. But so you could very well, if you get some Sky as well, you could very well have both of them hit by the end of the year. That's just a guess, guys. I don't know. So as Niko says, don't. When you ask questions like that, nobody knows exactly a date, and if anybody ever told you that, you have unforeseen things that pop up, so we can't ever guarantee that. Is Optio affiliated with Skybound? Hi, Billy. Amy, what it is they are our back-end partner. So that's the beauty of what we have. They are our partners, and they've helped immensely with a lot of the stuff that we're doing and with our back end of the blockchain. So they are our partner. Yes. Hey, Billy, thank you for being here. Can you tell us anything about I cannot, and that is not what this call is about, unfortunately. I apologize. So that is a different time. Getting into Optio, when you first came on here with the Renegades, would that be enough time to distribute to bring excellent ROI? I can't talk about ROIs. That's illegal. Sorry. I have to keep this really dialed in, guys, on the words that you guys use. I know some of you guys are new to this space, but using words like investment, ROI is illegal by the SEC. So I cannot say words like that. Let me see here.
You're getting paid in rewards, guys, not money.
Yep, that's
And
right.
the rewards are valuable, but and you can always sell the rewards, but there's lingo. But you got to just be careful with the way you word it. But
touch on the ambassador program for Skybound. So the ambassador program with Skybound, if you want to come on and do stuff, actually, once you get in, William, I'll sit down and talk to you about that kind of stuff. Let's do that. Is there still a 2-for-1 buying with 10 nodes or more for Optio? I can check on that, Mike, for you. You would just have to ping me here shortly after I've made that text, and I can find out. I'm pretty sure there is. Yes.
That's right.
Sorry, rewards. Apologies, Billy. Not trying to be subject on CNBC, American Greed. Oh, exactly. We got to keep the verbiage right. Our attorney, who's Daniel Payne, is one of the biggest blockchain attorneys in the world, literally, and he's hounded on me forever about correcting people instantly when they say things like that, because the more you say them and they don't correct you, the more you think that is the correct way. So we're very much compliant when it comes to things like that. Once we purchase the Skybound node, will there be a monthly utility charge? It's not a utility charge. What happens is there is, in order to run the nodes, there is a hosting fee. Just like if you buy a domain name like Billy Womack or Niko or any website that you have, there is a hosting fee. That is correct. So Simple will be the hosting company as well for that. So you can get up to, but it's pennies on the dollar. The first project we did, I think it was $15 a month for one node, and I had a ton of them. So I was spending hundreds of dollars a month. With ours now, with technology have changed, new companies, you can do 100 nodes exactly at that price. Exactly 100 nodes for $30, which is nothing when you compare to what you get out of it. Correct. Good questions. All right. Any other questions for that? If you guys want the Skybound rewards, if you want to travel, if you want these things, then the code, and Niko can put that in the group chat, there is NODE, NODE,
I'll put it
under
in
the
the
coupon.
yeah, I'm gonna put it in the
Group
post
chat.
when I share it in the group,
Yep.
but we
I
won't
can't
do
tell
it.
you how long that will be there for. So I did get it approved last time. They said no, but this time we've got an approval for yes for a couple weeks. So let's just go from there, and then it may come back later, but right now it's for the next two weeks.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
And guys, just to be clear, and I say this right in front of Billy, I've seen some people asking about becoming ambassadors and stuff. What that means is that you're going to go and promote it. And so there's nothing wrong with that, but you should know what you're talking about. You should understand everything that you're getting involved in first, and you should actually experience results first before, me personally, that's what I would do, is before I really tell people about things. But I'm sharing with you guys because of my experience with watching Billy's success with the nodes. And that, but I made it clear from the beginning, these are risky, separate, outside of Crypto Renegades. These are just other opportunities that we have presented to us all the time, and I make it available because people want. You guys are in this group for a reason. You want to learn about all kinds of things crypto related, and these are just other opportunities that are available to you that can impact your bottom line and be fruitful in the future. And so that's why we make them available. But you still gotta be cautious. You don't spend your last dollar on anything. Don't put money into something you can't afford to lose, because there is that possibility, just like when we trade Bitcoin or anything else. And so with that being said, we'll let Billy go, but any other questions can come into the ICO channel. We can always have Billy back on another time, but for the most part, I'll also put his contact information for specific questions about the nodes, because it gets a little convoluted in the ICO channel. I'm not the one answering the questions. I'm in the same boat with you guys when it comes to this stuff. And yeah, you can follow Billy on social media. By the way, when he talks about he just got off the phone with Mr. Hilton, or he just got up, he really did, guys. I mean, you can see he's hanging out with these people all the time on private jets and in Vegas. He's in with all of these people. And so now, with that being said, there is a lot of big names behind this stuff. So Billy's got to be careful with that too, about what he talks about. But he's probably saying more than he should on these calls because of me. But at the same time, guys, you got to be careful. You got to do your due diligence. We want to make things available to you, but at the same time, I just like to always give my disclaimers. And,
yep, 100%. I agree 100%. And guys, I've been in this space now for 12 years, so I couldn't get on here and tell you anything about trading. That's Niko's spot. But if you come to me about software nodes and blockchain, this is my spot. This is what I've been doing now 12 years full time. I've made a very good living. This year I'll help over 250 people make over $1 million in this industry. But it comes with a little risk, just like Niko said. You got to get in early, which is where we are right now. So if you believe in the project, and so far already having the hardest parts already built and done, jump in. If you don't, that's fine too. We're not here to push or anything else. I just want to give you guys the opportunity, because Niko and I have had a relationship for over 20 plus years. We've known each other for a long time, and he wants to help you guys diversify a little bit of your portfolio and get in on the side. So, but if you guys have questions, leave them right there in the group chat with Niko on the website. He'll get back to me. I'm happy to jump in here and help you guys. Here's one last question. Are these the last nodes, Optio Sky, for the community, or will there be new nodes? I'm not sure if I understand that question.
There's always more. No, it's not the last potential opportunity, but we like to Yeah. In other words,
Hannah,
will there ever be more nodes besides these two offers?
Hannah, you said the Kaiba wallet decreased by half. They had a vote, and they dispersed some of those nodes, or excuse me, some of those tokens out to some of the bigger companies that came on board. So that all went to vote. Everybody voted for it, and that's what happened. So that's back in January. New titles of nodes, new names. I'm not sure what that means.
In other words, will there be other nodes?
Uh, Not really on Skybound. That's not the plan at this point. No.
I mean, different nodes, different companies, different things. I mean,
Oh yeah. Well,
I mean,
Optio will always have more. That was the whole point. Optio right here has a circle, and what they're doing is they're building out all these different blockchains so we can all come in, and they get a piece off everything that comes in off the nodes. That is a revenue stream. That is a utility that they purposely set up this way. So I was the very first person to actually come in and buy into it like that, and I had to put up a lot of money up front. But that was the whole point of building the blockchain out the way that they did. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing. It's a revenue stream for them to help launch them. So that's a good thing.
Hey, Billy, can I hit you one more time?
Yes, sir.
Hey, just to further my question, do you think we got in early enough when you came on with the Renegades there, with the Optio? And the way you just described it is perfect.
Yeah, so I don't remember how long ago was that? I don't even remember.
I think about 5-6 months ago.
Well, I mean, I had been minting for over 2 years at that point, or right around 2 years. So, I mean, here's the thing. It's better late than never. So we just didn't put it together in time, but that's why we're here for Skybound, because Skybound hasn't started any distribution, and that's truly when you want to get in on any platform like that before the distribution starts, so you can be on day one. But Optio's a stud. We've got a lot of great stuff, and hence why when I pitched them on Skybound, they went nuts with it. And for us to go out there in the short amount of time, since less than 60 days, to already have 1 million hotels under contracts. Most of these things are already under contract. We've been working around the clock to have all this stuff done. So we have absolutely just killed this already, which is great. But there's still a lot of really cool stuff that we're going to be adding to this. And I saw somebody put, will you have any chance to be adding cruise ships? 100% the cruise lines will be coming on board as well. Yep. That is true. I believe if we have staking our nodes, you don't stake the nodes, you stake the tokens. From the beginning, when buying 10 nodes, is there ever a time to stop staking? Or great question, Daryl. You're not staking nodes, you're staking tokens. And what's happened is, once this hits exchanges like Coinbase, and once we have at least 25 million a day in trading volume, then you'll be able to borrow against them. When Warren Buffett, and I've said this time and time again, when Warren Buffett needs money, and he's one of the biggest Coca-Cola investors in the world, he doesn't sell his Coca-Cola stock, he borrows against them. While your tokens are staked with Optio and with Skybound, you're going to be able to borrow against them, because at that point they'll have value and they will be an asset. So you will not have to unstake them. I will never sell any of my Optio tokens ever, zero, none of them. Why? Because I can borrow against them. The whole point of having them is to create an asset, and where you can use them for money. Well, I don't have to sell them to get the money. I can borrow against them. Why would you ever sell them? So anyway, that's what we teach people how to do. But people will buy them all day long, but now they're gone forever. That's the whole point of having Sky Rewards as well. Why use your hard-earned money and it's gone forever? Buy the nodes and use those to travel around the world and do different things. If the stock market crashes, would you be affected? That I can't answer questions like that. I don't think any human can ever answer a question like that. A lot of people say, here's what I'll tell you about that. A lot of people tell me I'm in a better situation if the stock market crashes, because everybody wants to run over and diversify and put it in crypto, and some people say it's something different. But I can't honestly answer that in good judgment. So I couldn't say, sorry. At least I'm trying to be honest with you. Assume that we'll be able to swap Optio tokens for Skybound down the road as also. You will be eventually. Now, that won't come anytime soon, but eventually you will be, yes. So we couldn't buy Optio now? You couldn't. I didn't say anything about you couldn't buy Optio.
Yeah, guys, you can. Guys, okay,
Yeah.
guys, questions are getting out of control here, but yes, Optio's still there. It was just a buy one get one free if you bought 10 or more, and that was for a limited time back when
Right.
we offered. But the breakdown for Optio is in the pinned messages in the ICO channel. Everything that for Skybound will be in the ICO channel. It's separate from the rest of the Crypto Renegades channels, guys, because this is just the ICO information for what we're talking about here for nodes. And I put it in the ICO channel, initial coin offering channel.
I'm going to answer this last question. This will be the last one. It says, what is the risk of buying a node? I tell everybody, just like Niko's told everybody, the risk is the platform not launching. The blockchain is the biggest risk, and it's already built. Boom. So that's done. The second biggest risk are the contracts having the utility built out. That's already done. So you've got about 88%, 90% of the risk already eliminated. But there's always risk with anything. So I'm not going to say it's 100%. I would never say that about anything on anything. So the risk is minimized each and every day because the community is the last part of building this, which is the easiest part. So that's why we say the easiest for last. All right. Thanks a million, Billy. Okay. Thanks, guys. If you guys want the 10 for 10, like I said, for the next or 10 plus, let us know. If you want to get 5, I think they get, let me look at my notes real quick what they did. They said if you want to buy 5, get 1 free. Niko, I did not put this in the thing because they just emailed me this when I asked them. If they want to buy 5, get 1 free, they can just type 5 in the coupon book or the coupon checkout, and they'll get that as well.
Right. Yeah,
So
put that into another email. So when I put it in the breakdown, then that everybody understands.
Okay, guys, thanks for having me. Thanks, Niko.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Billy. All right, guys.
Yeah, my skybound little. Can you guys see that? Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
All right,
we'll
thanks,
get
guys.
we'll
Thanks,
get the
Niko.
breakdown, guys, and I'll talk to Billy to make sure that everybody's on the same page and get that in the breakdown so you understand the exact instructions and what.
And this hat right here is one of the private aviation companies. We were just at the hangar the other day. They're coming on board to be one of the private aviation. We've got some really cool stuff happening. So you guys are going to see a lot change on the site and with the site in the next 30 days. So there'll be trips up there and all kinds of stuff already happening. It's moving extremely fast. So if you guys want to be a part of it, great. If not, I wish you all the best. And thank you for allowing me to speak to you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks, Niko.
Thanks, Billy.
All right, see you guys.
All right, guys. People are asking for a website. Guys, I've said it, I don't know, 10 times. Everything is going to be put in the ICO channel, the step-by-step details for anything that is related to that. So just be patient. There is no rush. There is no you're going to miss out on anything. We want to make sure that it's the right thing to even bring to the group before we do it. So don't stress. It's all good. Yes.
Thank you so much, Niko.
Yes. We don't want to really introduce anything to the group unless we feel comfortable about it. And I only did and do because of previous experience with Billy, but that doesn't mean everything is good. That doesn't mean everything's going to work out, right? So hold on 1 second, guys. All right.
Niko, Steve asked a question earlier that I couldn't answer. What was the green line on the 2-day? Is that your 50 period moving average or was it your 200 green line on the 2-day?
Yeah, let me go back. Let me share my screen. Let's get back to it, guys. By the way, guys, there is no doubt in my mind, you will make more money learning this right here. Now, unless something really strikes with one of the nodes, and it has happened. I've seen it happen to not only Billy, but other people, where it just shoots through the moon because it gets launched. Like Gala, for instance, he made $11 million on Gala with 9 nodes or 10 nodes at $1,000 each. So yeah, things can happen, and they do. It's just that those are you can't promise or guarantee that's going to happen. So that's the risk you're taking. But same thing can happen here, guys. Obviously, if you get in on the bull market at the bottom and you enter the right amount of contracts with the right leverage, you can change your life in a very short period of time. So, and this you can do daily. That other thing, you got to buy and wait, and you got to depend on other people. You got to depend on other companies. You got to depend on these people making these promises, including Billy. And, you know, I like Billy a lot, don't get me wrong, but I don't trust everybody with everything. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful, you know, especially when they make money by promoting these things. And so, you know, I'm always looking out for you guys. So I'm not I am gatekeeping. Let me just put it that way. I'm gatekeeping to the degree that I want to make sure first before I introduce it. And so even though I have them on the calls, even though I'm letting them talk about it, which does excite a lot of people sometimes when they hear these things, I don't get excited about anything, to be honest with you guys. I look at everything as a risk and a reward scenario. And sometimes I'm not willing to even make the risk myself. But on the things that I do, I share. But I still got to let you know that there's risk. And I know you guys are smart enough to understand that. So, but going forward, I only will bring things that I believe that can actually have the potential to do what they say. All right, so someone asked, what is the red line or the green line? Which one was it again? The green line, and that is the green line. Yeah, Jose, no, there's risky business. Play with what you're willing to lose, so you're not disappointed if anything bad happens. Yeah, I mean, we shared a node. We shared a node a couple of years ago, and that has not panned out yet. I mean, I'm accumulating millions of them during that whole time, but it hasn't reached its. It hasn't got listed yet, and that was Element token. Only a few people in the group bought into Element token, but yeah, I mean, the nodes are still pumping out. They're still minting tokens, but the token itself, and in their Discord and in their private groups, they're still promoting. They're still doing whatever they can. They're still getting contracts, and sometimes just a long process. But sometimes they hit faster. But we'll continue to talk about it, and we'll continue to do our due diligence before we really you know, buy into these things. So let me just go back here. Someone was asking about what was the green line on the 2-day you were just talking about. Okay, so here I am. This is the 3-day. The green line is the golden death cross indicator. And, you know, it indicates the death cross here on the 3-day. If I go to the 2-day, the death cross was back here right before this drop on the 2-day, and we are coming up to the green line here. But on the 2-day, generally speaking, when we get below the green line, after being above it and retest it as resistance, we are technically in a bear market until we break back above it. This is the last bear market right here. The one before that, when we get below it, that's generally an indication of a bear market. And there are some times when we wick above it, as you can see here, but when we break above it and hold it as support is when the bear market's technically over. And that's just throughout history, guys. It doesn't mean that things are always going to be the same, but when we look at it, with the exception of here back in 2014, where it did break above it, but it didn't hold above it and it came back down, failed rally is what that was. And it came back below. And as you can see here, it wicked above it, but it came back below, wicked above it, came back below. And it wasn't until we got above it that the bull market started. So whenever we wick above a major support or resistance level, it doesn't mean it's breaking out until it holds above it for a certain amount of time. I would say even on the weekly chart, like right now, we're on the daily we have 1 day and 8 hours left of just this candle. The candle that just broke above this green line, just broke above the 75K zone we still got 1 whole day and 8 hours left on the 2-day time frame for that to either come back down or hold above until the next candle opens. So if I go to the daily, we're way above on the daily, but we're still in the bear flag. We're still in the downward trending channel. We just wicked above it a little bit just to hit the top of the bear flag. It reminds me of this one right here, where we get to the very tip of the top of the bear flag. And that's when we break back down. So the top of this bear flag just outside of the downward trending resistance line. So will it hold above that is the question. This is the daily. Will it hold above this and get above the bear flag? That's a different story if it does that. Then if it does that, it'll probably just come up to wick the red line before coming down. That would be up here in the 85K zone. Is that possible? Yeah. everything is, but let's look at the liquidity. Let's go back and look at the actual liquidity. And the liquidity, there is some more up here, guys, in the 80, 78, 7, 78, 9 zone. I would say 80K. I would say 80K up to 79K rather, 79, 80K. And we're hitting 78.2 right here. And you see this line right there. Let's just go to a little bit higher time frame again. It's basically just the top of the bear flag. And it's amazing that when you have the lines drawn in the right spot and you go to the lower time frame, it not only hits it perfectly, but it as soon as it hits resistance. This is just the upward channel inside the bear flag, but this is the overall bear flag, the main bear flag line. Oops, right there. And we just hit it at the same time that the top of this upward channel is converging on the bear flag line. I mean, look at that, right at the convergence. Let's go to a lower time frame on the 15-minute. Right there, right where they're both coming together. Boom, boom. It's interesting. Now, could this just break right through? Sure. But what I do is I look at the bear flag and I say, what happens every time we get to the top of it? We fall back, hit the top, fall back, hit the top, fall back, hit to the top, fall back, especially inside of a downward channel. And this is the one we're currently in. Hit the top, fall back, hit the top, fall back. This is the first time we're hitting the top. Boom. Are we going to fall back? Are we going to break through a bear flag to the upside in a downward trending channel? Now, you might say, well, we're breaking out of this downward trending channel. That absolutely could be the case. And so, and for me, in order for me to believe that we're going to break this bear flag to the upside and break the downward trending resistance line, we would need to hold above all of that. We would need to get above the bear flag and literally hold above all this. And not just on a 15-minute chart, but probably a daily or a weekly. I would like to see it on a weekly, because if I go back to all of these scenarios where that's actually happened in the previous, sorry, let's go to the 2-day. Like this right here. These wicks above right here. I mean, that's a 2-day. It took 2 days for it to come back down and start the next candle. So right here, went above it. This candle lasted 2 days and then it dropped back below. So that's why I say the weekly is more powerful. If it holds for a whole week, let's go to the one where it went above. So we had 2 days. We had a whole week above it, but then it fell below and then retested. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 2 weeks above it here. And what did it do? It wicked up to the red. It wicked up to the red line. And also this upward trending previous resistant support level as resistance, which was basically just the top of the bear flag, guys. Let's just look at it this way. It was still a major bear flag. We don't even have to have the line from back here. It could just be the bear flag line. So we have bear flag hit the top, fell back below. Bear flag hit the top, but fell back below. Bear flag hit the top, fell back below. So it just seems like it's never going to end when it just keeps pumping and holding it like that. But that's because we're anxious and we're looking at lower time frames and we're looking at these huge candles. And so you just got to give it a little time to play out. And that's kind of where that's at. That's okay. That's okay. You get excited easy. That's no problem. We all do. I do too. I can get excited about things, but Chad just shared a 6-hour chart shows. Let me just pull this up. 6 hour, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one right there on the 6-hour time frame. It's hitting that right now. Yeah, so if you do a short right now, guys, your likelihood, it's very overbought. Chad's in the chat right now. I'm just it's pretty overbought here. Should get a decent enough pullback for good profits. This is where you short. This is where you long on the when it's bouncing on the bottom of a flag. When it's hitting the very top of a bear flag, guys. It does look at this one. How reaching. Oh my God, we thought it was going to the moon right here. Same with this. Same with this pullback right here. Boom, all the way back up. Oh, it's bouncing. That's it. It's going up now. But whenever you have this much of a huge climb that fast and very, very high reaching, this is the 2 days, so it doesn't look like that much. But if I went down to the 1 hour, it was very high reaching. I mean, it was just crazy pumping. Whoops. Look at that. I mean, just what usually happens after that. We have a big pullback. And very rarely does it not. I mean, there are times when we have a little bit of consolidation here and then, another pump up. But to where? Just the bear flag top. We've just hit that basically. And I will put that right there because that is the actual, because we did hit it. It's just every time I change time frames, it messes up my lines a little bit. But let me just put this where it actually should be, where the majority of these touch points might even went through a little bit right there, like it did here. So is it going to hold above it is the question. That's what they are, Adonis. He said let me just read your question here. Is it just me or those bear flags and bull flags are sort of replicas of drop and rise levels? That's what they are. Yep. Drop level, rise level, drop level, rise level. Now, here's another very important thing. When we look at the RSI, we did this. This is actually something that matters right here, guys. We have from back here, which is November of 2024. We've had major bearish divergence, resistance. The price was going up, 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 up. Bearish divergence going down, 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 down. The bearish divergence broke here while we kept going down, but the price was now going down. So the bearish divergence broke here and right here, which is January 1st. When we went into the new year, that's pretty much the end of the 12-month candle. The 3 years to the top of a bull market, that was pretty much the end right there. Basically means we're now going into a bear market. And from then, right then, we did drop all the way down to the bottom and we went into oversold territory here. But you see this? That's a lower low. And that is still a lower high. So what we really need to see here, guys, is we would need to see a higher high and a higher low. Just a higher high, okay, higher than this high, which looks like it's hitting right now. Looks like it's getting higher than that high right now. But if we have a pullback right now, which I am expecting, we would need a higher low in order for there to be somewhat of a trend reversal here. Okay. What if we have a higher high here and then we come back for an even lower low down here? Is that possible? Yes. We had it here. Let's go back and look. We had a high and we had a lower high, and then we technically had a higher high right here. And look at that. Higher low, but we had a lower high after that, and we ended up with a lower low. So we need a higher high and a higher low. And of course, we would need a higher high after that. But right now, it's way too early to make that presumption of what's going to happen here. But the first thing to have a higher high and a higher low and a higher high, the very first part of that is to have a higher high. And that's what we're kind of seeing right now happening. So the very first part of that is actually looking like it's happening. We actually did get higher than this high on the RSI. this one right here, where I have that line. I'm gonna change the color of that line so it's easier to see. We just it looks like we're wicking right above it right now. There have been times, as you can see here, we got above the downward trending resistance line and still turned back down. So that would need to happen in order for us to stay in the downward trending channel and get back into this blue zone here, which is the horizontal support and resistance line going all the way back to 2021 here in the last bull market. And we're kind of we're in the thick of it right now, guys. Just like we were here, we got up into it here, and then we were stuck in it. It was like quicksand. We couldn't get through it, and we finally popped through. We held support here. We come down to it on the way down in the bear market, and we hit it here. I'm on the 2-day time frame, but it took like a whole week to get through it here. We bounced and bounced, and then finally went through, went all the way through the bottom, but we did not hold as resistance under the 65, and we came back up in this. And so we were holding 65 as support, but we're also holding 75 as resistance. And is it going to be resistance again here? And we just have a big wick up, and then this candle comes back down below, and we come to the bottom of the bear flag again and do one of these? Or are we finally going to do one of these? That is yet to be seen. But yeah, I mean, the bear flag is clear. The problem with this bear flag, separate from this bear flag, is that this bear flag is teetering right on support and resistance. Support and resistance. It's in the middle. It's not bouncing. This bear flag didn't do this, where it came down from here and bounced on 75 and created a bear flag. No, it went through it, and it's creating the bear flag right in the middle of the 65 to 75 zone. And that goes all the way back to here. This is the bull market top in 2021, 65K right there. Boom. 64.8 to be exact. And then we wick through it a little bit to 68. That's called a double top, because if you look closely, we never held above the 65. We hit it, and then we wick through, came back below. Hit it, wick through, came back below, hit it, and then dropped. We never held above it. And then over here, we hit it, and then we went above it, and we bounced on top of it for a little while. Came back below, resistance, came above it, came back below, couldn't stay above it, dropped and retested the previous high at 49K, boom, and then hit it, got in the middle of it. Again, it took, by the way, this took 7 months to get through. And when we finally did, we held one little candle above it and then popped. And then we came down and retested it at 64.5. Chat was given long signals in here. I was still short from this falling wedge, but here we are now. We broke the upward trending support. We fell. First drop level, in my opinion. This could be considered a drop level too, but to me, this was still inside the upward trend and still in the bull market, because technically speaking, the 12-month candle wasn't done yet, which took until December 31st. This was still in October when this happened. It's just my opinion, but it could still be a drop level. But this is the drop level after we broke the upward trending support, and then there was no resistance here, guys. There was nothing, so we easily fell back below. But I'm surprised that we went right through this 75 so easily. We sliced right through it, and now we're kind of right here. And for Cyrus asks, is 3 years a general standard for bull bear market cycles? It's 4 years, actually. 3 years up and 1 year down. That is the typical market cycle of a 4-year cycle. And coincidentally, the halving is every 4 years as well. But so it's 3 years up, 1 year down. Historically, that doesn't mean it will always be that way. This could be the last time, but as of right now, it still seems to be that way, in my opinion. But here's the difference this time. There are a lot of things that are happening this time that is different than any other time in history. And that is the fact that we got bills in Congress. We got the Genius Act that passed. We got the Clarity Act that technically passed, but now it's under review for alterations and changes just to make certain industries happy. The banking industry not happy because they don't want people making a dividend or getting an ROI on altcoins or on stable coins. The banks want you to put their money in the bank. The crypto market wants you to put your money in altcoins. Not altcoins. I keep saying altcoins. I mean stable coins. Right. But we're on the verge of switching to a digital currency economy. And I think that's the way it's headed. So the banks are going to have to come around. So what they're going to do in order to still be in the game is they're going to have to offer the same products and services as a Coinbase, for instance. And you might think that Bank of America, Chase Bank and Wells Fargo and all these banks, you might think that they're bigger than the crypto industry, but they're not. Coinbase is bigger than all of them combined when it comes to money, when it comes to the value being held. Binance, for instance. Brian Armstrong, who's the president of CEO of Coinbase, no one really talks about him wealth-wise, but he might be one of the richest guys on the planet. The founder of Binance, what's his name? I can never remember his name off the top of my head. CZ, Keith just answered it. CZ, he is multi-billionaire. I mean, who knows how many billions? So there's big money in the space, and you got governments around the world, the president of the United States, you know, the whole administration right now, Democrats and Republicans, all on board. Really, it's just the banks that are causing the holdup because they don't want the ship to leave without them. They want to be part of the game. They don't want to lose the industry. Millions of dollars, billions of dollars have left traditional finance and banking institutions going to crypto. There are people that are no longer banked, that, you know, they don't care. Their goal is not to have a bunch of cash sitting in the bank account. I know a lot of people it is, but there's a lot of people out there that don't have any money in the banks. They have it all in crypto or in, you know, by the way, you know, you could have it on Coinbase and pay your bills with your Coinbase debit card and still keep your money in crypto. And every time you use your Visa, it literally takes it out of your USDC wallet. This is the future, guys. This is the way it's heading right now. So you either gotta, you know, a lot of people don't like change, but change is happening regardless. Change always happens. But so with all that being said, this time could be different when we're talking about bull and bear market cycles. This time definitely could be different. And we could see something, you know, we could see a change in the normal cycle. Yes, I do agree that that is possible. I just haven't seen it yet. But we're right now, what's happening right now is as close as it's come so far to possibly seeing that bullish reversal here. It is true. Right here, right on this line. Even though, to me, we're in a downward trending channel and we're in a drop level and another drop level and possibly, and I have the circle here, I've had it there for a while. That's where I think the bottom is in, but the bottom could be in. This could be the bottom. This whole zone somewhere in here could be the bottom. Anywhere in here, and meaning this could already have been the bottom. And I do agree with that. But I'm personally not convinced yet, but at the same time, I'm open to that being the case. And if we break out here, I'm going to have to reverse my positions and probably take a pretty big hit on one of my trades. But I made a lot of money, guys, on the way down. And the risk that I take sometimes is betting on a continuation of a trend, which I did here. I don't, for those of you who've been in the group long enough, you might remember on this falling wedge, we had an all-time high here of 108. We double topped at 109 and we went into what's called a falling wedge, which is bullish, which means we know it's going to break to the upside 90% of the time. And it did. But I wasn't convinced that this was the bottom here at 74.5 because I thought it needed to come to here at 73.8 or here at way back here at 68, somewhere in there. So I was saying 70. I was thinking it would at least wick down to 70K, but it hit 74.5 and bounced. And when it bounced here, by the way, I was in a short here, short here, short here, short here, And right here, when it bounced there and went up to there and wicked all the way up, I shorted. And then boom, it shot through the roof and held. Even when it shot through the roof, I stayed in my short because I thought this was just going to be one of these wicks, and it was just going to come back down because I thought we still had further to go. I thought this, if I'm being totally transparent here, I thought this was going to come down into this zone and at least hit the 73.8, which was the previous high right here. And it didn't. It hit 74.5. Chad was calling longs right here at 74, 75, 76. He was stacking in the longs, and I was still short. And I even shorted again up here. And so when it popped up here and did this, and then did this, I got stopped out. Probably lost about $8,000 or $9,000 on that short. But I was heavily in, and I made 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand. I made a lot of money on the way down. So that's the risk I take sometimes. And so, because I just think that there might be one more. And I'm kind of feeling that same way right now. But again, I have been wrong before. I will admit it. But this was a little different to me back here because we were in the bull market. There was still, when this was happening right here, it was April. So to me, we still had May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. We had still had 7 months of a bull market to go, in my opinion, based on previous market cycles. So, I thought we would go down a little bit further, but I wasn't thinking we were in a bear market. Here, I'm thinking we still got a little time. But again, I know I keep repeating myself, but again, the trend is your friend till the end. The 4 market cycle, the 3 years up and 1 year down, is technically a trend that's been happening since the beginning. And that could come to an end. And when it does, when the trend is no longer your friend is when it ends, right? And if this does do that and it breaks above and starts to climb up here, does that mean that we're in a bull market now? No, not necessarily. But this trend could be over. We could literally pop up to 85K, hit some resistance over here, and still come down to a lower low. And then wait till, and then in October, we go into the next bull market. That is also possible. We could wick right up to the red line, even up to 90s. That is possible. But in order for me to think that's going to happen, we would have to hold above this bear flag and this downward trending resistance in order for me to get on board with that personally. I'm open to it though. Debanked, unbanked. Yep. Any questions, guys, for me or Chad? I don't know if Chad's still on, but if you have any questions, feel free to jump to ask them. James, Sneak Code, Bill, do you all know anything about the new movie? What's the new movie? Bitcoin movie? Is it a movie about, you mean about the creator of Bitcoin? I saw some info about it a couple weeks ago. Chad's waving. He's still here. Ian, I think it's Ian Herx. Could you spend some more time explaining how you create your red line and green line? Yeah, this red line and green line is simply one simple indicator, guys. It's the golden death cross indicator. I can turn it off, turn it on. So what you do is you come up to this. By the way, this is not on Phemex, guys. This is on TradingView. So there are a lot of indicators on TradingView that you don't get access to on Phemex. So that's why I have TradingView. So you come up to your indicators right next to, the candles, and then you just type in golden death cross. It's the golden death cross indicator, which I already have. It's not going to show up here because I already have it, but this is it right here. And then also down here, guys, there is a 200-day and the 300-day moving average right here. If I put those lines on and turn off the golden death cross. And then I usually look at these on the weekly. So we have also on the weekly, guys, as you can see here. If we look at the bearish divergence from when we hit 73.8 to the top of the bull market, we are still in this downward trending channel on the RSI. We haven't even got to the top yet on the weekly. But separate from that, the 200-day and the 300-day moving average, which is this purple line and this red line here, generally helps you on the weekly time frame see when we're close to the bottom, because throughout history we've always wicked through the 200-day and hit the 300-day in every bear market. Hit the 200-day, 300-day, hit the 200-day, wick through it, 300-day, bounced and climbed out to the next bull market. So we haven't touched either one of them yet. We came close right here when we hit 58K. So, and you can see these coming into this circle that I have. This is one of the reasons why I call this the bottom zone, because we're still kind of coming in here. I don't know if these are going up or they're going to go sideways, but let's just say they go straight up during that. We still could hit that. Could we go up first before hitting that? Yes. We did here. This could be, I mean, here, for instance, this is similar to where we're at right now. Drop zone, this drop zone right here. Let me go to the 2-day or the 3-day. You can see it better. This one right here. This is kind of like where we're at in the grand scheme of things. In my opinion, some people think this is where we're at. But even if this is where we're at, let's look at the price range. The from here was 27%. Pump up before the final drop. Where we're at right now, if this was the same, let me get rid of some of this stuff. We hit 58K and we pump up. Look at that. 29%. Very similar pump from that drop. And this one down here, though, when we came down to that 17.5, we pumped all the way up at 44% back up to 25K before coming back down all the way back down to the 17, 18K range. And then again, another pump before dropping to 15.5. And that was the true bottom. And that was on the exact 1-year mark. So I think the true bottom will be somewhere around here in October, in my personal opinion. But it doesn't mean it's going to be down here. It could be anywhere. But usually it's this date when it finally climbs out in the next bull market. And that is a trend that has been happening. And that could end if this just climbs and we make new highs, obviously, then this bear market is no longer a bear market. Something's changed. This is different. But I just have to see that happen first to believe it myself personally. Chris, yeah, I'll check market side for Kent. What time is it? 1:26. Okay. Ian, hopefully that answered your question about the blue and green, the red and green lines. I got stopped out on XRP and Solana because I moved my stop loss to break even or in profit a little bit. And those things obviously pumped up and took me out. I'm still in my Bitcoin short, 2 of them. Chris, do we still have the small fair value gap up around 79 to 80,900? Possible it could just jump up to close that gap. Yeah, we can look at it. Is that under futures? Bill, the fair value gap? Is that the CME? That ain't a big bear flag. I don't know what is. I might be looking at the wrong thing here, guys, but. Man, this thing whipped all the way down to the bottom and right back up. What time frame did you see the gap, Chris? On the daily? Why am I not finding this? Hey, Bill, are you still on?
Yes, sir.
See, the CME gap?
You're under crypto, you got to be under futures. And then just Bitcoin, BTC, and it'll come up.
BTC, I was putting CME.
Yes, sir. Should be at the top.
All right, so this is the gap we're talking about here. It looks like 79 up to 81, 80, yeah, about 81. We're close. Certainly could. Certainly could. I mean, we are hitting the top of the downward trending channel right now as we speak. I don't know what all this stuff is that I have here. Let me. Yeah, I mean, just because it exists though doesn't mean we're going to hit it right now. I mean, that's something we could come back and take out later. But generally they do get hit, but not always. Not always. This one right here, just to give you an example, this was in November of 2024, and we didn't close that gap until March of 2025. July, August, that was a month later. That was not a big deal. This one's been going on for a while though. February. We got a nice big W here too. There's a lot, there's a lot that could be said for both possible directions, guys. But the weird part about it is that this level right here, where we were technically below this major resistance level here at 75K. We did get above it. There's no doubt about it. But how long is it going to hold? Is it going to hold above it?
At what point would you be willing to change directions on that?
I probably wouldn't do it based on the CME gap, but if it does wake up and hit this, if it does wake up to this level, to the 80K, 81K level, it's probably going to well, like here's an example. This one right here was in April of 2025, and we didn't close that until November.
There's a weekly fair value gap right at 80K too. So I'm going short at 80, 81. I'm short.
Yeah. It's the same. It's the same one, really. It's just, yeah.
Big imbalance that week.
I mean,
Big imbalance.
yeah. So guys, that's certainly on the table here. We're so close to it. It's hard to imagine us not wicking through that, to be honest with you. That would definitely be, in my opinion, not a trend reversal, but a possible good short. If we wicked right up and took this out, it would probably just come right back down. $81.5, Paul. That's what it looks like to me. It's like it's right around 81. 80,959 to be exact, but I just say 81. But doesn't mean it can't go through that. It's just that would definitely close the gap. As you can see here, big gap. Didn't close it all the way. Wicked right to closed it. Wicked. It just wicked and then went right back up, guys. Did not continue down after closing that gap. And there's a lot of reasons why. I mean, I know I've went over this a million times, but we got several things, guys. We got the Golden Death Cross. We got the Gaussian channel. Someone asked the market. We got the RSIs. Let's go and look at, let's get rid of this for a second. Let's put Market Cipher B on and see what it's telling us. I mean, Market Cipher is looking bullish right now. But this is the weekly, and the weekly does take time. It's actually got 3 hours and 34 minutes left of this candle on the weekly. Not that much longer, guys. So it's either going to happen now or it's going to just fizzle down. So let's go to a little bit lower. Let's go to the daily. On the daily, on Market Cipher, after having this huge pump up from down here all the way through the zero line, all the way up to the top. And it looks like possible, it's the blue, the light blue is getting thinner and thinner as it's coming to this line right here, which is the 60. This gray line at the top. That's usually when things start to fold and turn around. That's overbought territory. So as you see right here, we wicked up to it and then had a red dot. Here we got a little bit above it, had a red dot. And look at where all these red dots are, guys. If you just look at the dotted line going straight up, it's when we hit the downward trending channel. Right here. Right. And so I have a feeling a red dot's coming. We're at the top, overbought territory. We're at the top, downward trending resistance. We're right near that CME gap, but we're also right here. This is still resistance, guys. Even though we're above it, it's resistance because all it takes is for this candle to just fail and come back below it, and that will be considered resistance. And because it would need to hold and actually have more candles built on top of that line on the daily for that to have any kind of wait. We also have something else happening here. Anybody see it looking at this chart? We have a cross on the moving average getting ready to happen. That's actually happening pretty much right here. Let's just go back in history and see when the last time that happened. Right here. Actually kind of intertwined right here a little bit. As soon as it crossed, we had a big dump. It came back up, crossed back above it. Big dump, crossed. More dumping. This is not as, on the daily, it's not as accurate, but these moving averages are about to cross right here, and we are hitting the top of a downward trending channel. So it is possible that we're wicking all the way up to the highs every time. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at the RSI way up here at the top level. When it turns red, when it starts to get edges, you know, it can only go up so high. We're in overbought territory, like Chad was saying. And you can see this, you know, that we came from way down here. That was this pump from here all the way up there and all the way up to the top. And it's turning into a little point. And as you can see, what happens when that happens, red dot, dump. When we get up to this level. So, you know, if I were to bet on what's going to happen, I would say we're going to have a big reversal here or a pullback. It may not be huge. Maybe it's not done yet, but that pump might be done because this is still a bear flag. We're still in it. Let me get rid of that for now. I'm still in the CME, by the way, so that's the gap we're trying to fill. But still a big bear flag, and generally speaking, bear flags tend to break to the downside, and generally speaking, they generally fall from the top of the bear flag back to the bottom. And generally speaking, I'm doing a lot of generally speakings, but if we come back below, that means we're going to be below the downward trending resistance and below the major horizontal support. And then if we do hit this and we are able to get back through this, that's a different story. But if not, then it's this. It's a continuation of the continuation pattern. Yeah, so what did I say it was? It was Chris said 79.2 to 81. Let's just say 79 to 81. Let's go right here. 79. Actually, let me do this instead. Let's do a parallel. 81. Somewhere in there. I mean, it definitely didn't close that gap yet. So it is possible that we wick up a little higher for sure. Yeah, James, you can screenshot it right now. Do you need me to do it? Is that what you're asking? These are all the ones that I have on my trading view, which I'll put in the chat right now. I don't have them all turned on. As you can see, they're not visible. I only use them when I need to look at something. I have the SMAs on right now, so let me turn those off. Let's just look at the Gaussian channel one more time because, well, that's not going to change much because we already turned red on the weekly, guys. And I'm sorry to say that I don't really care what anybody says. Some people don't look at these types of indicators as that important, but there has not ever been a time on the weekly time frame where the Gaussian channel turns red and starts to turn down that we don't have one more big dump. Just hasn't been the case ever. Here it is turning red, one more big dump. Here it is turning red, one more big dump. It just the way it is. And I don't know if we can go back far enough. That's the beginning. So if we just look at every bear market, that's what's happened. It turns red on the weekly, curving down like this. Boom, another big dump. But right before it turns red, or right when it turns red, look at this. Even, we have, and by the way, let's just say that we already had this dump. Look at this. It actually fell right when it was turning red. Let's go look at this one. This one fell after it turned red. This one fell before it turned red, all the way down to here. This is why I think this is where we're at right now in the grand scheme of things, guys, is this, this drop right here is kind of very similar to where we're at. We had that drop and we have a 29% climb up right when it turns red. 28% from this bottom of 50, all the way up to the downward trending resistance line. Boom, turns red, big drop. So very similar to where we're at now. We have this drop before it turns red. We climb all the way up 29%. And the only thing that hasn't happened yet is the drop. If we take this and we add the golden death cross to it on the 3-day time frame, and we put that here, in addition, we had, look at this, we had the 3-day death cross. And no, that's not right. Hold on a second. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Let me get rid of the Gaussian channel. Right here. Let me put the Gaussian channel back on. Right here. And why is that significant? Because also, if you go throughout history, every time we had a death cross on the 3-day time frame, every time, not sometimes, not once in a while, not 50 or 80% of the time, but every time after the death cross, even though we had one before, after the death cross, we had one more. Death cross, final dump. Death cross, we dumped. We came back up and retested. Death cross, final dump. And so the only difference between this time and all the other times is we haven't had that final dump yet. But we have two indicators, two very, very accurate indicators. The death cross, the 3-day death cross, or what's known as the triple death cross on the 3-day time frame, and the Gaussian channel, both flashing red, indicating one more dump, which just hasn't happened yet. So if that doesn't happen and we shoot up instead, I will be surprised. But I will be the first to tell you it's not impossible. I just will be surprised. And then if you add that to the 200-day and the 300-day moving average, both of which that have never been hit yet, these two lines here, and they always have in every other bear market, then I would say that we still have one more dump left. That's just my opinion. Don't shoot the messenger. That's just how I feel about it. Let's see. Bill, onboarding call coming up at 2 p.m. for those of you who are brand new. He just posted in the chat, onboarding 2 p.m. Eastern, right after this call. I'm gonna wrap this call up here in about 5 minutes because I have another call coming before the 2 o'clock call because I also have to get on with someone else at 2. But those of you who are brand new, please make sure you click that link, get on there. Do not stay on this call. I'm going to end this before that anyway. But if you should see the link in the Zoom chat, but also in the Discord. Bill's going to also help you make sure you understand how to use the Discord and everything. But in the Discord, he also shares the links to the onboarding and the basics calls and all those calls. Whoops. In the announcements channel, right here, onboarding, he just shared it. There's the link in the trade chat, right here, onboarding. So you can't miss it, guys. Share it everywhere, including the Zoom chat we're on right now. So make sure you get on that. And you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Matt, thank you. Mr. Bizarro, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Daryl. All right, guys. James, remember to like Niko's YouTube channel. Yeah, thanks for that. I keep forgetting to encourage you guys. I appreciate it. And I know a lot of you sent me your wallet addresses, your Zoom, your Phemex user IDs, and I have sent a lot of people some gratitude, some small amounts of Bitcoin here and there as gratitude for liking it. I just haven't got to everybody yet. But if you're doing it to help and you don't mind, I will get to everybody. I am kind of going through that as we go. It just takes a while sometimes, but yeah, head on over to YouTube. Let me see if I got it here. Go to YouTube and just search my name. It's better for the algorithms if you do that rather than me share a link directly to it. And then like, comment. Don't forget to comment on those videos too. That creates engagement. We appreciate it. But watch it too, so that you can learn something and then comment on what you saw. Hopefully it's helpful to you, because that's just extra information I'm putting out there. And then send me a DM letting me know you did it, and include your Phemex UID number, which is your Phemex ID number, so that I can, which is, I think this number up here, right here under the little symbol there, UID. And I will get to you eventually here and send you something for helping out. And I do appreciate that, guys. All right, guys. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Get on. Yeah, happy weekend to all of you guys too. But this is a major time right now that we're in. So there's some big things happening right here. And this is a make or break situation. We're either going to pull back down and we're going to have that one last drop that I've been talking about, or everything's different this time and we're going to change direction. And I would be very curious to see that if that were to happen, but I'm not so sure it is. Look how close it is to my liquidation right now. And I have a lot of contracts on this short. I would not be fun. I'm going to have to add to it. I'm going to pad my short right now just to get it a little higher, especially above that that CME gap, just in case. So, but I'm staying in it for now. That's the risk I take sometimes to make the bigger money. All right, guys, stay tuned, and I will keep you posted on any changes. Get on the onboarding if you're new. Have a great rest of your weekend. But if I see anything happening, I think the big pump just happened. Obviously, that was the big rise level there, and we did hit the top of the bear flag. So I think in the short term, we could push one more time to close that CME gap. But other than that, I think we'll be coming back down after that. That's my opinion. And if we don't, then yeah, this time is definitely different. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon.